Hello my beautiful friends, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, welcome. My name is Fatima. I am a certified derm tech and I make videos related to makeup and skincare. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure you're subscribed. As you can tell by the title, we are doing a full face of Dior makeup today. I'm gonna give you my recommendations, I'm gonna give you my favorites, and also I'm gonna give you what to avoid from Dior Beauty. Before getting to the full face of Dior, I wanna use this ultraviolet Future Skin SPF 50 Modern Mineral Sunscreen. I received this as a sample with one of my orders from Sephora. I am trying out some mineral sunscreens. I wanna know what can replace my Korean sunscreens and the sunscreens that I pick up from YesStyle. Let's see what is the consistency. Not a bad consistency. If this is a good one, I might pick up the full size. This is very watery. I'm gonna apply this to my whole face and be back to apply everything from Dior. This looks a bit too orange, but it is okay because we are gonna apply foundation, but I like the texture. There is a video coming up about every mineral sunscreen I have tried from Sephora or from the high-end stores. For my foundation, I'm gonna use this Dior Hydra Nude foundation. I love this foundation. I know Dior has a lot of different foundations, but all of those felt too thick for me every time I wanted to try them. This foundation, I tried a sample first and I have a short video comparing it to the Chanel La Beige foundation. I loved this foundation, which is why I picked up a full size. I know that they have a foundation that is in a stick version and it is good for drier skin type, but I didn't like that one when I tested it out in the store. I like this one a lot more. I felt like that one might show up some of my dry patches. As I said, this is Dior Forever Hydra Nude Foundation. I have shade 1.5N. W looked a bit too orange. This is the consistency of this foundation. And this is the color. It gets a bit more pink after it dries down. I'm gonna use this with my BK Beauty 101. I'm gonna apply it to my face first, then blend it with the foundation brush. It is hydrating at the same time. It's not too glowy. I think the reason is that it is a water-based foundation and it works very well with dry skin. Look how beautiful this looks on my skin. It is a beautiful foundation and it is a good match for me as well. I would have liked it to be a bit more neutral because this is a neutral one and it has a bit more pink in it than I like, but it looks good. It is very undetectable on my skin, so I would say this is a good shade match for me. I love the foundations from Dior more than their concealers. There is a concealer that is in this kind of packaging. It has a black cap. You know what I'm talking about. That concealer is super dry for my under eyes and even for my whole face. I prefer this concealer from Dior, which is their Dior Backstage concealer. I have shade 1W in this one, and the reason I like this one more is that it is a bit more lightweight and a bit more lighter in coverage, so it helps with my under eyes that are super dry. But in the end, their concealers aren't my favorite. I prefer their foundations. This is a good concealer. I wouldn't say it's a bad concealer, but it is nothing that is like super crazy good. I'm sorry my screen isn't showing anything and I tried to fix it but I couldn't. So for the swatches and everything, I have to just guess. This is the shade 1W. This has a brush tip, which is different than every other concealer that we have used in the past. What I like to do with this concealer is to apply it under my eyes and let it sit for a little bit so that it can give me a little bit more coverage. It is a very thin consistency. I've never used these products with a wet sponge. I'm wondering how they will look with that sponge that I got from AOA. Alright, this has dried down a little bit. I am blending it out with BK Beauty 110. As you can see, after it dries down, it gives me a lot more coverage. It doesn't move around that much. If you don't like this much coverage, blend it out sooner. I did apply some to my eyelids because I want to apply powder eyeshadows. This is not a bad concealer, it's just not my favorite. I wouldn't say it is drying under my eyes or it is creasing a lot. It's just some ordinary concealer. I wouldn't say this is like luxury concealer. For me, I have better concealers that look a lot better than this under my eyes and on my eyelids. When I look closely, I see the concealer. But with the foundation, it feels like I have nothing on my skin. It feels like I only have moisturizer. The foundation I love. The only thing I haven't used from the pile of Dior Beauty I have here is their mascara, which I recently picked up. So that one is gonna be a first impression. Everything else I have used before, either for a long time or just recently picked them up, like the new collection they released recently. I actually haven't used their contour stick yet. So the contour stick and the mascara are the only two that I haven't used before. I want to use this contour stick today, which is Dior Forever Skin Contour. I have shade 1 Light. Ooh, very creamy. I have picked this up during Sephora sale, but I haven't used it yet. Ooh, this is very creamy. I am using the same brush, BK Beauty 110, that I used for my concealer. It blends nicely. It is a bit less cool tone than everything else in the market, but this is a great consistency and great shade for me. When they are too cool toned, they turn pink on my skin tone. This is perfect shade for my skin tone as a contour. Look at that contouring. It is my perfect shadow color. I wasn't gonna pick this one up, but then a lot of videos came out and I saw that the color is actually perfect for my skin tone. So I decided to pick it up during the Sephora sale. Everything from Dior has a very faint fragrance. I am not a fan of fragrance in makeup products, but I have to say the fragrance in Dior makeup does not bother my skin and it doesn't bother me either. It has a very fresh smell and I like it for some reason. I'm not gonna apply it to my forehead because I have other bronzers that I want to show you on the camera. I'm gonna apply it only to my cheekbones and my jawline. Another thing that I don't like about the concealer is that it is already losing coverage. I know the other one is more full coverage, but that one is just too drying for my skin. I have a very dry skin. If you haven't watched my videos before, I think I have the driest skin ever. If you have more of a normal skin, I think that would work best for you. I wish that one wasn't too drying for me because the coverage and everything about that one looks a lot more appealing than this concealer. I love this contour shade though. I have this contour stick from Sephora collection in the shade Fair to Light. This is the Sephora collection one, this is the Dior one. As you can see, the Sephora collection one has more gray in it. And this one is ABH Smooth Blur Contour in the shade Halftone. This is the ABH one, this is Dior, and this one is the Sephora collection. I would say it is very close in shade to the ABH one. ABH is a bit lighter in color, but the tones are very close on the skin on my hand, and this is how they blend out. I hope the swatch helps you if you want to pick that one up. I also have the Milk Makeup one somewhere, but that one is a lot more cool toned, a lot more pink than even the Sephora collection one. The Sephora collection one is more like a gray toned contour, but the Milk Makeup one has a lot of pink in it. From these three, I love the tone of the Dior one. I feel like that is my true shadow shade. For my bronzer, I'm gonna use this Dior Forever Glow Maximizer. This is the shade Bronze. I also have the shade Nude here with me. which is this one. This one is more like a highlighter or a blush lighter. This one is more like a bronzer for me. I'm gonna use these for my cheeks, but for my forehead, I'm gonna use their powder bronzers because I want to show you those as well. What I do with these, I just apply 1 dot or 2 to the high points of my cheeks and then blend them out with a brush. This is my foundation brush. You can apply these with your fingers as well, and it looks really good with fingers too. These are very glowy, but at the same time you won't see any glitter in these. Honestly, they look gorgeous on the skin and they blend out very easily. At first, when I looked at the swatches online, I thought the bronze shade is gonna be too warm for me, but then when I applied it to my face, it looked gorgeous. So this is nude and this one is bronze. The nude shade is more like a blush slash highlighter for me. The bronze shade as well. They have a rosy shade too, which I really want to pick up, but I have a lot of makeup. I don't know how much I'm gonna use that one. They dry very fast, so make sure that you are blending them out as soon as you apply them. This is nude. As you can see, it looks more like a blush lighter than a highlighter. And it is very glowy. You only need a little bit. These have zero glitter in them and you will only see some shine. I love them so much. You see that glow? Gorgeous. I already used this Dior Backstage Rosy Glow Stick in Rosewood in my last video where I tested and compared some of the new blushes. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it in the description box. I compared some of the new blushes to the old ones, and I also applied some of the lip butters, and I also applied this one in that video. I'm gonna apply a little bit of this to the apples of my cheeks. And I said in that video, I hate the packaging in these because when I'm using this, when I'm using any stick format makeup, for example, the Dior contour stick, it is pushed up. So I want to be able to put it on my desk and then blend out. But with this one, I have to put it this way and then it gets on my desk and it gets dirty at the top. Unless I am closing it and capping it, then I can put it on my desk, which is very inconvenient. Other than that, these blushes look beautiful. They do change color a little bit. As you saw, it was a bit more pink at first, but now it is turning to be a little bit more like red, but that's it, that's all. And I don't understand why we need that when we can have it this color from the beginning, because I don't think the color change is gonna be that different between different people. I'm not gonna use this blush in this video. I just want to show you this blush. This is one of their OG formulas. It's called Rouge Blush. I have shade 100 Nude Look. It is a matte blush. They also have one shade that has a little bit of shimmer in it. I don't remember the name, but I also wanted to pick that one up. But since I was picking up the other shades, I was like, maybe I should stop because I have a lot of Dior blushes. I have had this one for a while. I love the color. It looks gorgeous on my skin. I know that it doesn't show up in the hand swatches, but these blushes are very smooth. I feel like these are better than the Backstage blushes. These are the old versions or like the new version. The OG formula is a lot smoother, a lot undetectable on the skin, and the colors are gorgeous too. This is the color. It doesn't show up that much in the camera, but this is a gorgeous color. The only thing I have to say is that I feel like these are one of those that can get hard panned. Mine hasn't yet, but I have a feeling that if I push a brush in there that is a bit wet from the foundation I have on, it is gonna. The only time I use this is when I powder my face. I feel like this is gonna look a bit patchy if I apply it on top of foundation without powdering, so I'm not gonna do that. I just wanted to show you the color. I really like their OG formula, so if you wanna pick up a blush from Dior and you don't like the Dior Backstage line and and their colors. I feel like these OG formulas have more sophisticated colors, more like luxury colors. Dior Backstage line is more towards the newer generation, I feel like. Even with their pricing, I feel like Backstage line is like the difference between Banana Republic and Gap, if that makes sense. If you are interested in any of these swatches from the Backstage line, the recent launch, you can go watch that video that I mentioned. For my bronzer on my forehead, I want to use these powder bronzers. These are also the reformulated ones. I have 2 shades here, 3 soft and 4 warm. I also have the OG formula, the bronzer that they had before this, and they reformulated it. This is the Dior Forever Natural Bronze. I have 4 tan bronze, which is this shade. So we have 4 tan bronze, 4 warm, and 3 soft. I do feel like the consistency of the powders have changed for the better. These older ones were good. I'm not saying that they were bad quality, but I do feel like they are softer, more blendable now. But I like the undertone of the previous formula better. I feel like the tones have become a bit too warm now. This is 4 tan from the previous formula. This one is 4 warm from the new reformulated formula, and this one is 3 soft. As you can see, 4 tan from the old formula has more of a neutral undertone. 4 warm is warmer, and 3 soft is a lot peachier than I like. Having said that, I'm gonna apply Dior Forever Nude Bronze in shade 4 warm. As I said, I like the shade in the old formula, but since you cannot pick this up anymore, I'm gonna use the new formula. For this, I'm gonna use BK Beauty 105. I like this brush for the bronzers that I feel like apply a lot to my face. This brush makes them a lot more wearable for me. It applies them a lot more softly. As you can see, this is a very soft powder. It looks very undetectable on the skin, even though the shade is not a very good shade for me. But same as their powder blushes, you have to make sure that you are very careful with these because you can get some hard pan on them, which happens with any fine powder in my experience. I haven't added anything to my brush, but I'm applying it to the rest of my face with whatever is left in the brush so that I can tie in the look. Gorgeous. I also have the OG formula for the highlighters. These are called Dior Forever Couture Luminizers, and I have shade Nude Glow here. As you can see, I haven't used it that much. This is a beautiful highlighter, but I am not a powder highlighter person, so I decided not to pick up the newer version. I really liked these highlighters. They are very smooth, glowy but not glittery. Very gorgeous highlighters, but I don't use them that much to justify buying the newer version. I think the shade Nude in the newer version is very close to this shade. I think shade Nude is more golden than shade Golden, so be careful with that. I'm gonna apply the tiniest amount of this with Van Gogh's number 2 brush from his Collector's collection. You see, I barely touched my face, and this is how much highlighter I have on my skin. I do prefer to go over the highlighter with my finger to melt it down into my skin. This is a very gorgeous highlighter, but I am not a highlighter person, or at least powder highlighter person. If you are a powder highlighter person, you will love this. The quality is top notch. Quality hasn't changed after the reformulation that much, but I think I like the older format a little bit better. I feel like the newer ones have a little bit too much shine, too much glitter for me. I don't know if you have watched my video where I reviewed the new limited edition Dior Show 5 color eyeshadows. I have 2 of them here with me. If you haven't watched that video, I am also linking that one in the description box. These are the 2 that I have. I have brown cashmere and silk taupe. I'm not gonna swatch these ones here today because I want to use one of my most loved Dior products ever. So if you're interested about these 2, you can go watch that video. What I want to use today is this Dior Backstage eyeshadow palette. This is Dior Backstage eye palette in the color Smoky Essentials. I love this palette. Everything in this palette looks gorgeous. Look at that color story. These are very smooth, very blendable. The colors are beautiful. I know they have a warm color too, so if you don't like this color story, you can pick that one up. Honestly, one of the best eyeshadows in the market. If you like a smoky eye look, if you like these kinds of tones, this is the best I've seen in the market so far. And it has a black in it. I tried to make my swatches the same as the eyeshadow palette. I hope you can see the swatches. This is a beautiful eyeshadow palette. I like all of these colors as a one and done eyeshadow. My favorite from the whole palette is this middle shade here, but I use all of the shades in this palette, and that is what I want when I pay for luxury makeup. I want to be able to use all the shades. Even this shade, this looks white in the pan, but it has a lot of golden shimmers in it. So when you apply it, it changes color and it is different colors in different directions of light. I'm not a fan of white colors, and this was my only worry. I was like, I'm not sure I'm gonna use that one color, but then I decided to pick it up. It looks gorgeous on the eyes. I also have this one eyeshadow color, which I'm not gonna use in today's video as well. This is the Dior Show Monocolor eyeshadow. I have shade 658 Beige Mitza. This is a beautiful one and done shade. Look at that color. Isn't that gorgeous? I also have the Chanel version of this color, so let me show that one to you, because when I was picking these up, I didn't know which one would suit my skin better. I looked everywhere online to see the difference between these two. This one is Chanel Ombre Essential. Color is 236 Brune Talpa. This is the Chanel one. It is one of the single eyeshadows, and this is the difference between the two. Chanel one has 18-month shelf life. Dior has 6 months. This is 2 grams, 1.9 grams. This is Dior in Beige Mitza, and this is Chanel in Brune Talpa. They are both taupey shades. Your one is a bit darker than the Chanel one, and it is a bit more wet looking. But both are gorgeous. I want to swatch the middle shade in the Dior Backstage palette next to these so that you can see the difference. And this bottom one is the middle shade in the Dior Backstage palette, the Smoky Essentials. Chanel, Dior Backstage palette, and Dior Beige Mitza. These are my perfect one and done colors. I'm gonna apply one of these lip glow butters. This is shade 103 Toffee to my lips while I'm doing my eyeshadow, because I want to apply something else at the end of the video. I also applied these two in my last video, so if you want to see how these look like on the lips, go watch that video. Since this video has been too long already, I'm just gonna use this middle shade as a one and done eyeshadow. I am using Chikuhodo eyeshadow brush. This brush is very soft on the eyes. So if you have sensitive eyes, maybe consider picking up this eyeshadow brush in one of the Beauty sales or gift card events. This is a lovely brush. It is a bit more densely packed than I thought. This is how this middle shade, which is called Soft Taupe, looks like on my eye. This is a gorgeous shade, and you can deepen it with any of the darker colors if you want, or you can leave it like this as a one and done eyeshadow. Let me apply it to the other eye and be back. If this is the only shade from the whole eyeshadow palette that you like, these are the two that are closest that I have in my collection. Now let's try this mascara, which is Dior Show Over Volume Mascara. It is color 090, made in France, 6 months shelf life. Cute packaging. This is plastic. This is not actual leather or fabric. I would say the packaging is a lot better than the packaging on their eyeshadows. These feel more lightweight. This feels more sturdy. And it looks better too. Maybe it's because it is a smaller packaging. This is the wand. It is a plastic one and it is fairly stiff. I have to say Dior mascaras are not my favorite, just like the concealers. They have never worked out for me. So let's hope this one is a good one, because I have paid a lot of money for it. I should say I like the wand. Those bristles are a bit more sparse than what I'm used to, but it has a good grip on the eyelashes. And it is not flexible, so it is doing a good job in separating my eyelashes. The consistency is on the thicker side, so I'm assuming if this dries out, it's gonna be a bit harder to work with. I like my mascara to be a bit thinner when I buy it, which means the consistency is gonna get better with time and I can use it more. I'm gonna apply the second coat and be back. Okay, a few things I have to mention about this mascara. First of all, the second coat impressed me a lot more than the first coat. Usually second coat of mascara is what bothers me the most if I don't like the mascara or if it is not a good consistency. And the tip of the wand actually helps a lot with separating the eyelashes. I feel like this is the only mascara that has these bristles at the top that actually work out for me. Usually they do nothing for me, and the bristles themselves are a bit thicker, as you can see, which help with separating the eyelashes for the second coat and taking all of those clumps out of your eyelashes. So the second coat of this mascara looks great. I think this is the best Dior mascara I have used so far. It is very black, it is lengthening and volumizing at the same time, which is very hard to find. Usually mascaras only do one. It is not too thin, but also it is not too thick. And the bristles on these are flat. They aren't round, and I feel like that is what is helping with less clumpiness. But I don't think this is anything special. I still like my Tarte mascara and L'Oreal mascara more than this. The L'Oreal one that I used in my last video is getting up there. But my Tarte Maniature mascara, this one is tried and true. I've gone through a lot of tubes of this one and I love it. The Tarte one, the bristles are smaller and they are closer, and the bristles are round. But this one, each bristle is flat and they are bigger and more far away from each other. This is Dior, this is Tarte. Again, my Tarte mascara has less flexible wand, and I feel like that is why it helps with the separation much better. I have to mention another thing. I feel like my eyelashes are sticking together, which is not a good sign. When I was applying the mascara, I felt it was a bit too sticky for my liking, so we'll see by the end of the video. I'm gonna clean up my lip butter and apply this Dior Addict Lip Maximizer, which I have in the shade Mahogany, I believe. It doesn't have the shade name here, it is 020. I'm pretty sure this is Mahogany. I will link it in the description box and I will put the shade name in there as well. This is how it looks like. I love this shade. I don't know why nobody is talking about it. Everyone is talking about the other ones that are more glittery. There is one that is more beige. There is one that is pink. But I feel like this is the best color they have in the Lip Maximizer collection. And as I mentioned in the lip butters video, these have a little bit of tingling sensation. This one has a bit more of a tingling sensation than the lip butters, but this one also doesn't feel too much on your lips, so I can wear this one comfortably during the day as well. This color looks beautiful with lip liner too. This mascara is already flaking, which is unacceptable for this amount of money. To be honest, I like Dior makeup a lot. I feel like they are one of my top luxury brands in makeup. But sometimes they release something that you feel like they didn't even think about anything when they released it, and they just released it because they are popular at the moment and they want to just grab your money for it. I don't know, what do you feel? Do you like Dior Beauty? I do like them quite a lot, but sometimes they disappoint me. I don't have a setting spray from Dior, but I want to use this new Pat McGrath Labs setting spray. It's called Glass 001. This is how it looks like. Ooh. Ooh. Let's see. One pass on each side. I don't see too much of a difference. I'm gonna go for another pass. Now it's too much. Let me dry it with my fan. I would say if you want to see the glow, maybe get closer to your skin. I think one pass closer to my skin would have been more natural for me, but this is a glowy spray and it doesn't look too unnatural. This is the finished makeup look. My recommendations from the brand is one, their foundations. If you are looking for something special that you cannot find in any other brand, I would go for their foundations. This is my opinion. You might have a different skin tone, skin type, and your experience might be different even based on where you live. Second, I recommend their eyeshadow palettes, especially these Backstage eyeshadow palettes. I love them. The consistency is perfect. A lot of good one and done shades. I also really like these luminizers. If you are a fan of these kinds of colors, these kinds of finishes, and liquid highlighters or the hybrids between blush lighter and bronzers, I would pick these ones up. Their single eyeshadows are gorgeous. These new ones, or even their lip maximizers, these aren't anything special that you cannot find anywhere else. But if you like the lip maximizers, consistency, the look on your face, these are good quality lip maximizers. Just know that you can find a lot of cheaper versions. You don't have to pay $40 for these. The concealer, you know, I'm not a fan of their concealers. You can find good blushes in the market, even in the luxury market, that are better than these. So I wouldn't say my first recommendation are their blushes, but if you want to pick up a blush from Dior, I would say these are better than the Backstage blushes. That is my personal opinion. I feel like the Backstage blushes are a bit too much for me. Even if I apply them with a light hand, the colors are not as sophisticated as the original versions. The cream blushes I like, but as I said in my previous video, these aren't anything special to the market, and Dior was very late with releasing a cream blush. Are they good? Yes, they are. But are they anything that I would say go run and pick them up? No. These are good quality blushes, but nothing spectacular. I do like their powder bronzers, the newer versions. They are very smooth, very easy to work with, very undetectable on your skin. My only problem is the shade range. I feel like they don't have neutral enough or more cool toned enough shades in their range. I know that this is a bronzer and I'm not expecting it to be as cool toned as their contour sticks, but these are a bit too warm, too orangey for my skin tone. I really like their powder highlighters. The reformulated version is very similar to the one that they had before. The contour stick I really like. The consistency was perfect. I think the ones in Sephora and Ulta that you try are dried out. So if you felt like they are a bit drier than what you see online, that might be the reason, because that was my experience. Every time I swatched them, they were too dry. Mascara was a huge no for me. It is doing that thing that my top eyelashes are sticking to my bottom eyelashes, and I hate that. I'm gonna feel it all day and it's gonna bug me. And second, it is flaking. So even if this was the perfect look for me, these two are enough for me not to buy a mascara, let alone a luxury mascara like Dior that is costing an arm and a leg. I think that is everything I have from Dior Beauty. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found some good recommendations, or I hope I convinced you not to pick up some of these products that don't work for me. As always, thank you so much for watching my video. I appreciate you being here until the end of this video. If you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed to my channel. And if you like this video, maybe give it a thumbs up. That would help me a lot with the YouTube algorithm and with YouTube suggesting my videos to more people like you who like these kinds of content. As I said, I'm gonna link those two videos that I have about Dior eyeshadows and the new reformulated version of the Dior Rosy Glow blushes in the description box, so that you can watch them if you are interested. I hope you have a great rest of the day, and I will see you in my next video.